Good morning, everyone. This happened yesterday, and I saw this just before, well, in the evening, but I didn't get to a third video yesterday. I apologize. So, Mr. Trudeau stopped the sandbagging in order to take a selfie and, take pictures with everybody. Look at all these smiling faces, right? And Justin Trudeau right in the center. And a worker, somebody who's volunteering his time, had been held up by this because of security reasons for an hour and came to tell Justin Trudeau about his experience. Okay. And I think it's very interesting how self-centered Justin Trudeau is. And here's a tweet first. When this is Alberta Aardvark tweeting, quote, I like it. When Trudeau first turned and acknowledged this guy, I honestly thought he was about to say, thanks for your donation. Like, thanks for helping, man. And that's what I thought too. And oh man, remember the raccoons? It's this guy. That's yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, back to this. Here we go. Sorry about the sound. I'm going to pause this and kind of explain where I think Trudeau's going wrong and why what he's saying is self-centered, because that's what I do. Here we go.
All right. Do you know how long you've held up people picking up bags? I've been waiting in line down the road for 30 minutes while you've been here soaking up the race.
Thank you.
You know?
Excuse me.
You're not getting my vote. This is a free country. It's a free country, and I'm trying to speak to him, and he won't even acknowledge me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, at the beginning of the video, Trudeau's laughing away. He's continuing conversations, and this person says, do you understand you've held people up? Do you understand this is an emergency and there's flooding happening right now? Do you understand what you've done isn't helping, it's hurting? Basically is what he's saying, right? And Trudeau continues to carry on and ignore him and, laugh with his the conversation. It's the same if you saw the Faith Goldie video. Yeah, Justin Trudeau shares a camera pane with Faith Goldie. It's incredibly controversial. Right, whatever. Anyway, he completely ignores her the same way he completely ignored him until he turns around and he's about to say, thanks for your donation. No, he doesn't say that, but this whole body language thing kind of looks very similar to that situation. Watch, here we go.
Acknowledge me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm sorry for your challenge.
It's not my challenge. I'm a volunteer trying to help someone save their home.
Sir, we've been filling sandbags as well.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you know, while you're here, nobody can pick up.
I am here.
While you're here, no one can pick
I
up
don't know
sand.
that, sir. I'm sorry.
Well, why don't you make yourself aware?
We are going to.
You know, I was with a guy.
He said, while you're here, nobody can pick up. And Trudeau said, I don't know that, sir. And he said, why don't you make yourself aware? Okay, so again, back to Trudeau. He's so self-centered that he's saying, well, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know that, sir. Back to this. This is a little rant this gentleman goes on. Carry on.
I was a staunch conservative,
Sorry,
and he said if you'd actually do work, he'd change his vote
I
and vote
was here
for you.
Sorry, sir. Calm
That's
down.
sincerity.
I just spent half an hour. Can you listen to me, sir, now that I've listened to you?
Yeah, I'll listen.
Okay. I'm glad to be here with my kids. We've just filled sandbags for 15 minutes,
But you
which
held
isn't
people
enough.
up.
At the beginning of that, he said, I've just been here for half an hour. We've just spent 15 minutes filling sandbags. It's so interesting the way he uses language. It's so dishonest.
Sorry.
All
sir,
your RCMP and
sir,
security
sir,
held people
sir,
up from
sir,
getting their
I can
stuff.
understand your frustration around security. I live frustrations with security every day of my life right now. That's something that unfortunately is a reality of
look
my
at the
life.
time
But
you've
I'm
taken.
happy.
I live with security every day of my life. That is unfortunately a reality of my life. Does he understand that the reality of the people he's impacting is their homes are being flooded? And if they don't get sandbags in front of the river, in front of the rising water first, before the water rises, that they lose their homes. That's their everyday reality, Mr. Trudeau. And if your everyday reality is your security shuts things down, you should have the self-awareness to skip a photo op in the sandbagging area. Hey, right? Maybe somebody with half a brain would tell you that if you couldn't think of that already by yourself.
Happy to be here.
They're about to open these
speak.
dams.
I'm happy to be here to speak with you, to listen to you, to speak with all and to encourage more Canadians to come out and volunteer. More people are coming and volunteer because we're
I
drawing attention
volunteered,
to it.
but I was in a
Thank you,
truck
sir.
for an hour
Thank
waiting
you,
while you
sir,
were here
for your
with a
help.
photo op.
I have
The most
frustrations with
insincere
security
thing
as
I've
well.
ever seen.
I'm sorry, sir. That's unfriendly and unneighborly today. We're here to help. Thank you.
So, in addition to completely missing everything that this gentleman said, completely missing the point of everything he said, he insults him as he walks away. Justin Trudeau insults this man as he walks away. That's unneighborly. That's unfriendly. You know what's unneighborly, Mr. Trudeau? Having your security hold up People trying to get sandbags to save homes. That's unneighborly. That's unfriendly. My goodness, here's Lisa Raitt tweeting, photo op issues aside, for me it's how he treats the volunteer that shows his character. Zero compassion from this spoiled PM. It's all about him. Yes, Lisa Raitt, every single sentence out of Justin Trudeau's mouth was about him. It was about him, his kids. Sir. He tried to interrupt that man every single time he started talking. Every time. Oh, sir, don't you understand? I'm the prime minister and it's very hard to be the prime minister. Sir, Justin Trudeau, you try and lose a house in a flood. I remember my basement flooding when I was young, and I have not experienced a flood in my home, but like as an adult, but I remember it as a kid, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice. My parents were very upset. It was very expensive. And not expensive like, oh man, the investment won't get padded this year. The dividend has to go to the flood damage. Like expensive like, we ate a lot more macaroni, right? You understand how that works? It's different for people like us, Justin Trudeau. So the next report is, well, and I just want to underscore, I can't believe anybody still supports this guy. This narcissistic, self-centered man-child that is our prime minister. Unbelievable. Okay, next article. CTV News is reporting, don't make election about immigration, corporate Canada tells political leaders. Who's wagging the dog? Have you heard the phrase, the tail wags the dog, right? Whichever is in control. Wag the Dog is an excellent movie with Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro, and usually I wouldn't recommend movies with these two. But, well, watch Blackpilled's deconstruction of Wag the Dog, and maybe you'll understand my reference. So, sorry, off on my little tangent here. CTV News is reporting, quote, don't make the election about immigration, corporate Canada tells political leaders. Okay. Big business leaders worried about Canada's aging demographics have been urging political parties to avoid inflaming the immigration debate ahead of this fall's federal election. The head of the lobby group representing chief executives of Canada's largest corporations said he'd already raised the issue with political leaders who are shifting into campaign mode for the October vote. With signs of public concern about immigration, Business Council of Canada President and CEO Goldie Hyder said he's promoted the economic case in favor of opening the country's doors to more people. Quote, we're 10 years away from a true demographic pressure point, Hyder said during a meeting with reporters Thursday in Ottawa. What I've said to the leader of the political parties on this issue is, quote, please do all you can to resist making this election about immigration. That's as bluntly as I can say it to them. The message from corporate Canada comes at a time when public and political debate has focused on immigration, refugees, and border security to the point that it could emerge as a key election issue, tempting parties fighting hard for votes. A poll released this month by Ecos Research Associates suggests that the share of people who think that there are too many visible minorities in Canada is up significantly, even though the overall opposition to immigration has been largely unchanged in recent years and remains lower than it was in the 1990s. Now, I just want to make sure that you guys heard that. The overall opposition to immigration, not immigration levels or anything like that, just the overall opposition to immigration has been unchanged since the 90s. Tricky news media. I scrolled down a little bit. As the baby boomer generation ages, experts say Canada, like other Western countries, will need a steady influx of workers to fill jobs and fund social programs like public health care through taxes. Thanks to the stronger economy, Canada's companies have already been dealing with labor shortages. Healthy employment growth has tightened job markets, making it more difficult to find workers. Okay. Now, I wanted to point out that we have been fed a steady diet of news media telling us that we need to prepare for the age of automation, right? Robots are coming for your jobs. You can see this happening at McDonald's and Walmart, right? The self-checkouts are ubiquitous, but are robots coming to replace truckers and other automated other things that have traditionally been done by and been good paying jobs? And if you have a good paying job, a lot of your salary goes to the government in the form of income taxes, right? You pay Ontario income taxes, you pay federal income taxes. So if you lose a $100,000 or $200,000 job, the government loses $60,000 or $70,000 or more $1,000, right? This is a lot of money, and this impacts their bottom line. And so I want to make a point, and first Maxime Bernier makes a point, and this is his response on this article. So I just read you the meaty points, and Maxime Bernier says, quote, no. Via tweet, he says, quote, no, manpower shortages are one thing. We must balance with our capacity to integrate immigrants, cultural and social stability, pressure on housing and infrastructure in big cities, wages, government support costs, etc. All this points to lower immigration. Now, I agree with Mr. Bernier, and it's interesting when you have a mix, or when you look at the job prospects in the future and the steady diet of the robots are coming, and you have to adjust to this new reality. The government should be heeding this too, because are they taxing robots? Have they taxed the earnings of robots? Do robots make money? This is a big problem, right? This is a problem that hasn't been solved yet. And, well, it's one that is going to, if the automation actually leads to decreased jobs, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't, right? Maybe there will be robot repair jobs that never existed before, or Instagram jobs that never existed before, or whatever, which is happening now. The internet is creating new jobs every day that I'm not sure bots can do, right? And maybe that's the next low skill labor that's on the horizon. But my point is, what if the automation doesn't result in a lack of jobs? Because we have very low unemployment now, and who knows? The other aspect to this is the National Post is reporting, quote, Canada's backlogged asylum system is not sustainable, immigration minister says in leaked letter. The number of people seeking asylum in Canada is rising, quote, far beyond what the existing system can handle, according to a recent letter from Immigration Minister Ahmed Hassan, obtained by the National Post. Now, this was August 24th, 2018, at the height of the illegal border crossing crisis, okay? So this isn't new news, this is old news, but I'm underlining a point here. Back to the article. Quote, without changes to improve efficiency and productivity of the asylum process, wait times and backlogs will only continue to grow, Hassan writes in the August 14th letter addressed to the Canadian Bar Association. This situation is not sustainable, nor is it fair to the people who need Canada's protection. Okay, my point here is, what about the people coming to Canada requesting this status, who don't qualify for this status, and who are waiting in hotels paid for by tax dollars for years? It's incredible. And there's a high number of these cases happening. And the backlog that's overwhelmed this system that Ahmed Hassan is citing here is contributing to the long wait times. And the long wait times are contributing to an increased cost to taxpayers to house non-citizens to be told that they need to leave. And I want you to see that it's not just me saying this. This is the CBC News reporting, and this is May 7th, 2018. And it says, quote, fewer than 1% of more than 28,000 irregular or illegal asylum seekers have been removed from Canada so far. Not very many, but it says, quote, while just over 28,000 asylum seekers have crossed the border into Canada irregularly since the beginning of last year, fewer than 1% of those have been removed from the country. Those figures come as senior government ministers maintain they expect close to 90% of those who cross the border at unofficial ports of entry will see their application to stay fail. That means they don't qualify for status in Canada, and they never did, and they shouldn't be here. So why are we putting them up for years? Because the reason we're putting them up is because the system is overwhelmed. And interestingly enough, the Liberals have recently moved to fix this. They had in the most recent omnibus budget bill a move to take immigrants out of Canada who are exploiting this loophole, and without a trial or anything to that effect. Here's the article about that. Liberals move to stem surge in asylum seekers, but new measures will stop just a fraction of the claimants. Provisions in the budget bill will prevent refugees from making claims in Canada if they've already made one in the U.S. And this is the asylum shopping thing. But back to my point, if automation is scheduled to bring down the need for low skill workers or medium skill workers, right? If people are running from this automation, running from automation of trucking even, right? Here's just a smattering of articles talking about automated trucks coming soon, right? The semi-autonomous truck could be very fuel efficient. Wonderful, right? Because they can stream behind each other. What's that? I can't remember what it's called, but it's a racing term. Doesn't matter. If that's true, then bringing in lots and lots of people is counterproductive, because they're never going to have a job anyway, because by the time they're trained, the job will be gone, right? Is that, trucking is one of those industries that people in Alberta and even Ahmed Hassan are asking for laborers, et cetera. And they're saying, we need to fast track this. We need to get people here, et cetera, et cetera. And there's tons of tweets on that I can show you, but this video is already long enough, and et cetera. But my general point is, the only politician who's putting the cohesion and unity of Canada first, and all of these factors instead of just economic factors. And the economic factors are not even proven. Maxime Bernier is the only one who's pointing this stuff out. And his conclusion is lower immigration than what the Liberals are putting forward. And the Conservatives refuse to put a number forward. So vote accordingly. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.